Welcome to Cooking with Nancy O and her sidekick Rick. How are all of you today? Did you want to say hi?
Hi.
He made a little noise. I thought maybe he wanted to say something. So we have our traditional salsa recipe for you today. And I don't know about you guys, but our tower gardens are still going strong outside. It is almost the middle of October. We have so many tomatoes still growing, and we have all of our bok choy and kale and spices going, but we are going to have to dismember this in the next week or so because we had to cover it with sheets because it got a little cold, and it's time to start growing in the basement again. We are growing in our basement, or you can put them in your an extra bedroom, or if you have a climate control. I'm tongue tied here. Sorry about that. Climate controlled garage. I have a friend doing that, and hers is doing fantastic. So there's all kinds of places to grow on these towers. And I have been anxiously awaiting to make our traditional salsa for you because last year or the year before we started with this recipe, and it goes gangbusters every time we serve it. And everybody loves the freshness of it. And when you can it or seal it up in the jars, which I'll kind of go through a little bit of that with you today, it tastes so fresh even on Christmas Day when you serve it. So I'm going to get Rick starting at cooking at the stove, because while this is cooking, I want to share with you some of the prep you have to do. So we have tomatoes from the towers. We have cilantro that we grew. And what else is in here, Rick? Oh, the jalapenos are in here. We all know that we grow lots of jalapenos. And then is there anything else from the tower? Tomatoes, jalapenos, and cilantro. We got that covered. Yep. Okay. We're going to add some garlic to it, some green onions, of course, salt, your vinegar, and then some lime juice, which is a little different. So I'm going to get Rick started with the tomatoes. Now, this is a full batch. Technically does not have to be jarred up if you're going to eat it right away. But we don't eat all of this, and we plan on making more. So I'm giving Rick the tomatoes, and this is a half a batch we're cooking today, but the recipe we're showing you is for the full batch. So, and the reason we're doing half batch is because we cooked half already, so we'd have it ready for today. Okay, Rick, what do you need next? The green onions. I'm going to give him some green onions there, and the jalapenos and the cilantro. He's scrambling. I moved too fast, sorry. And some garlic. Doesn't that look good, guys? Let's do the vinegar next. Okay. And we're going to sprinkle some salt in there. And then we're going to cut it with some lime juice. Who loves limes? I do. I just love limes. Okay, now he is going to cook that on the stove for about 15 minutes. So when we prepped this, what we did is we peeled our tomatoes, and I don't know if you remember, we dipped them in the boiling water a couple weeks ago to show you how to do that. And the minute they split, you want to pull them out. You can put them in cold water, just let them rest, and then they peel real easy. The recipe calls for you to seed them and to dice them. And if there's a hard core in the center of your tomato, you don't want to use that, because who wants to chomp on a hard core on when you're eating your salsa, right? Okay, so the big thing about this is before you start cooking your salsa, you want to prepare your jars. Now, these are called ball jars. This is the big canning company. They carry all kinds of canning supplies, and these are the lids and the rims. And I wanted to, I don't know if you can see this, but this lid has rust around it. You do not want to use that lid. So we're going to toss that aside. So you want to use brand new lids when you start this. Reusing the lids can not, like this has rust in it also, so we're not using that one. So if they have any type of rust, no, do not use, throw away, buy brand new. And before you get started, you have to heat the jars in what's called sterilizing them. So what I did is, this all made me a little nervous when I wanted to start canning. So I purchased this machine, and it's called Fresh Tech. Yes, Fresh Tech. It comes with the actual booklet where we get all of our recipes. You can preheat your jars in here. You can seal up everything in here, and it takes the whole process off your shoulders as to whether or not you're doing it right. Now, if you want to do it in boiling water, you can do it in boiling water like they used to do many years ago, and many people still do. I like using the machine. Rick, do you want to move this to the counter for me? So anyway, there's very many machines out there like this. And the trick to this is when this is done cooking, you're going to put it into the jars and leave a little headspace, and you're going to into the hot jars. Let me rephrase it. And then you're going to drop them into your boiling water to seal. And when the lids dent down, you know you got them done, because they have a little puff in the center. And after they boil for a while, they go down. Okay? So that was probably clear as mud if you've never canned before, but we can walk you through all that. And I have, Rick, yep. What is your favorite thing to serve with the salsa?
Chips.
Chips. Wrong. We're trying to be healthy, guys. So I love eating my salsa with celery. If you dip it into celery, you are doing totally low cap. How about adding salsa to ground beef, and you can have a salsa burger. So brown your ground beef, you add your salsa to it. It's like making a healthy sloppy joe. And we call them salsa burgers around here. So it's a great way to have a fast, quick meal for moms or anybody on the go. And whenever we go to a party, if we have salsa around, because our kids steal our jars every time they come to visit, we enjoy taking some salsa with us. And I always take celery on one side and chips on the other side. So if you're really trying to help people that watch what they eat, that's a great thing. Now, Rick, I'm going to let you taste this.
Okay.
He's over there playing with the canning machine. I don't know what he's doing, but okay. So this batch we made yesterday, so it's good and cold. You don't have to can this recipe if you don't want to. If you think you're going to use it up in a timely fashion, go ahead. Let's see if it tastes as good as looks. Yes. He's having trouble here, guys. The anticipation.
Yep.
I know.
Disadvantage of the chip.
Guys, this recipe is so good and fresh. So something that we do is every time when we swim during the summer, we pull the salsa out and we eat it at the pool. Poolside salsa.
It's better as it sits too.
Okay, we sampled this last night after we made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's far better today because it's sat. So this recipe is fantastic. And if you need the recipe, you guys can reach out to me, because I am going to, we can share it through Facebook or Messenger or whatever you want. But this is a really good recipe to have on hand. Now, I kind of want to go to the towers a little bit while that's cooking and back. I am getting ready to start planting, and I'm going to try a couple new vegetables this year. I know that you're supposed to grow cucumbers outside, but we're going to try growing them in our basement this year on a trellis, since we have room down there. And I'm anxious to share that with you when that happens. And then I'm also going to try rhubarb. It is not on the list of things that you can grow, but I'm very anxious to try growing rhubarb on the tower inside, because it's a cooler month vegetable. It hits in June when it's available to eat in the Midwest here. So I'm dying to grow rhubarb because we love rhubarb in our house. The other thing I want to tell you is we are making pumpkin chili next week. And I'm really excited about having pumpkin chili because we have so much pumpkin, everything this time of year, but you can't even taste it in the chili because it just blends in with all the flavors. How's that going back there?
Good. Good. Timer on.
So what we're going to do after the show today is Rick's going to add the salsa we made last night to that and get it piping hot, because when you add it to the hot jars, you want the salsa piping hot. So I am headed out of town today, and I am so looking forward to coming back with new ideas on the tower garden, because I'm going to conference and we're going to find out more information about our tower gardens and all of our products. And I wish you guys a wonderful week. Looking for recipes for the fall. If you have anything you want to know how to cook in the fall, give us a call, or else we'll keep pulling our own for you and sharing that. And until next week, you guys have a fantastic week, and see you next week with pumpkin chili